Okay, so let's talk about one of the biggest questions of our time. Maybe the biggest question. Where is all this technology actually taking us? I mean, every single day it feels like there's some new breakthrough that's going to change everything. But what kind of world are we really building here?
When you strip it all away, it really boils down to this single massive question. Is technology going to be the key that unlocks solutions to our greatest problems? Or is it a Pandora's box that could, well, break us? Let's dig into those two powerful, competing visions for what's next.
It is so important to get this. We are standing at a huge fork in the road. This isn't just a metaphor, it's where we are in history. The path forward isn't set in stone. The choices we're making right now about how we build and use technology, man, those are going to have consequences for generations to come.
The writer H.G. Wells put it in pretty stark terms, didn't he? He said this over a century ago, and somehow it feels more relevant today than ever before. He saw technology presenting us with this ultimate choice: utopia or oblivion. Heavy stuff. So let's start with the brighter path. Let's look at that utopian dream. This right here is the vision of the techno-optimists. It's a future that's powered by this deep, fundamental belief that with enough innovation, enough computation, and enough engineering, we can solve pretty much every major problem that has plagued humanity for, well, forever. It's a vision of progress, totally unbound. So what does this future actually look like? Well, picture this. It's a world where we've just eliminated devastating genetic diseases, where we have limitless clean energy for everyone, where poverty and scarcity are things you read about in history books because we've solved them with intelligent automation. Imagine a world where our own intelligence is enhanced and we're making scientific discoveries at a speed that is just impossible to comprehend today. That is the promise. This whole optimistic worldview actually has a name: the Californian ideology. It's this really powerful belief system born out of Silicon Valley that technology is, at its core, a force for good, a tool for liberation that can just kind of bypass all the messy politics and build a better, more efficient world for everybody. But for every one of those utopian dreams, there's always a dystopian warning, right? This is the other path of that fork in the road. This is a future that's shaped not by our best intentions, but by all the unintended consequences, all the hidden biases we build into our tools, and the power struggles that get embedded in our tech. This is basically the dark mirror of the promises we just saw. Instead of augmented intelligence bringing fairness, we get automated discrimination baked into algorithms. Instead of technology setting us free, we get mass surveillance and the end of privacy as we know it. Instead of abundance for all, we get mass technological unemployment. And, at the extreme end, you've got truly terrifying possibilities, like autonomous weapons, or even losing control of our destiny to a superintelligence. And this table right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the tension. It's not about good tech versus bad tech. As you can see, the very same technologies hold both the promise and the peril. Artificial intelligence can make a life-saving medical diagnosis, or it can guide a lethal autonomous weapon. Genomics can cure an inherited disease, or it could be used to create engineered social divides. The tool itself is often neutral. The outcome, though, anything but. So, if it's not just a simple choice between utopia and oblivion, then where does that leave us? Well, this brings us to a much more nuanced and frankly a much more useful way of looking at the whole problem. The future isn't decided by the technology itself. It's decided by the human systems we decide to build around it. This quote from David Krakauer just nails it. A piece of code or a new machine. It doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? It exists here in our world, a world full of laws, economic pressures, our own biases, and our shared values. And it's that social context that really shapes what that technology ultimately becomes. Now, the official term for this is a socio-technical system. It sounds complex, but it's a really simple idea. It just means that our social structures, people, laws, values, and the technical parts, the code, the hardware, are totally intertwined. You can't separate them. And that leads to a really crucial point. If you want to steer the technology, you first have to look at the society it's being built for. So how do we actually do this? This is not a passive thing. It's a very active process. It has to start with us defining our values. Like, what are we even trying to optimize for here? Fairness? Happiness? Growth? Then, from there, we need to have real public conversations about it, not just discussions happening inside tech companies. That debate should then lead to wise institutions, smart regulations that can actually keep up. And maybe most importantly, underneath all of it, we have to invest in our own collective ability as a society to think critically about these massive, complex issues. And all of this brings us to our final, and maybe our most important idea. We have to start seeing the future as a creative act, not some inevitable destination that we're just hurtling towards. It's something we are all actively making, every single day, with the choices we make. The takeaway here is so powerful. The future isn't some place waiting for us down the road. It's the house we are building, right now, together, brick by brick, choice by choice. And the best part? The design is still in our hands.
And that leaves us right here. This whole debate between utopia and dystopia isn't just some academic exercise. It's a live project, and it's happening all around us. Where you put your attention, how you use your voice, the choices you make, it all plays a part. So the final question isn't for me to answer. It's for you. What kind of future will you help build?